It is wild card weekend in the NFL. We got 6 just very good games. I'm not going to say they're great. There are some very good ones, but there are some ones that aren't that great. Welcome into Pigskin Perspectives. I am, as always, your host, Nick Burt. Like I said, wild card weekend. We got a few coaching things to talk about. We're going to get into the coaching ones first. So, yesterday, when I released the Saban retires, all that, there was another coach retiring that nobody truly expected. Kind of just came out of nowhere. Pete Carroll, head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, has retired. Maybe, I don't know. They're saying that it's a retirement with a possible, position in the front office. What does that mean? I don't know. There were reports that Carroll was fighting to coach this team next year, and it just came to an impasse, and it ended up in retirement. I don't know the full thing, if he's officially retired or possibly going for one final job. I highly doubt he's going for one final job. At the age of 71, I feel like you're not really going out there for another job, but you never know. But it is the end of a storied coaching career for him. He's the only coach in the BCS era, so 1998 present, to have won a Super Bowl and a national championship. So he is one of one. He's only one of two to win a national championship and go to a Super Bowl, which the other one is newly national champion Jim Harbaugh. He's had a long career. It spans 6 decades. He was everywhere and anywhere. Obviously, just with the Seahawks, college days, remember him as the head coach at USC, leading just those absolutely insane teams back then. He was the coach of the Patriots for 3 years, I think, before he went to USC, but he had a few gap years in between there. He was the head coach of the Jets for a year. I know he was a defensive coordinator with the Jets prior to that. And then after the Jets, he became a defensive coordinator again for, I believe, the 49ers. He spent a lot of time in college, like as a grad assistant and as a positional coach, before he finally did end up at USC as the head coach. But it's a real ending of an era. Pete Carroll was one of very few coaches that could go to college and go to the pros and be successful in both places. It just caught me off guard yesterday. There's always retirement talk when you get into your 70s. Is this going to be your final year? I don't think he wanted this to be his final year. Finishing 9-8, just missing out on the playoffs, understandable. But he is now, I guess, an advisor to the front office. I don't know what that really means, but he is. And the Seahawks now start the search for a new head coach, but the belief is that it's going to end up being Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, who has a lot of ties in Seattle, and it would make for a not shocking hire. I think really the only other name being thrown out there is Kalen DeBoer, the head coach at the University of Washington, and I don't even believe that's going to happen because he's now a front runner for the Alabama job. So I think there's a better chance that he goes to Alabama than he does the Seahawks, but who knows? It's going to be odd not seeing Pete Carroll on the sideline for the Seahawks, but, time moves on and people just move on. The other coaching one, obviously, yesterday was Carroll, Saban, things come in threes. Bill Belichick and New England Patriots have parted ways. Now, wasn't an official retirement. From Bill, it sounds like he still wants to coach. I don't know if any of the teams with openings really want him, just given what these past few years have looked like. I know that there were reports that, maybe the Panthers, maybe the Titans. I know Schefter said a mystery team that is still in the playoffs, which that leads me to two options. It's either the NFC East team, so the Eagles or the Cowboys. I believe if either have a embarrassing performance this weekend, their respective head coaches are most likely gone, and wouldn't be surprised if Bill steps in there. But this is, I know I said Pete Carroll is the ending of an era. This is a completely different ending of an era. It seems like the final chapter of the Patriots dynasty has been written and the book is now being closed. Obviously, anybody affiliated with those, Super Bowl winning teams mostly gone except ownership. It's just odd that it's come to this. It kind of felt like, in those glory years, it was going to be Bill and Tom riding out to the end. They maybe not both retire together, but they both most likely go off into the sunset right around the same time. Obviously, if you consider a year difference the same time, then that's kind of what happened. But obviously something happened there at the end as they split. Tom went to Tampa Bay. Bill stayed in New England. Tom won a ring. Bill didn't. I think that's truly what's driving Bill right now. He wants another ring. I just don't know if that's truly possible. He's going to have to get into a very good situation, and I don't know if that situation's out there. For the Patriots, it sounds like it's all systems go on their succession plan with Gerard Mayo most likely being the next head coach, but I do have to believe that the firing of Mike Vrabel in Tennessee does play a factor in here. Vrabel played for the Patriots. He played in that Belichick system. Is there a potential that maybe the succession plans don't happen and Vrabel becomes head coach? I don't know, but it's just something that's out there. And like I said with Bill, I truly don't know if any of the jobs open are going to be, banging down the door for a 72-year-old Bill Belichick. I know he loves football and he will still want to be coaching. I don't know if there's going to be the team out there that wants him. Like I said, the Panthers maybe, just because David Tepper's very, very odd. And he's like a win now type person, and the Panthers don't have the roster. So I don't know. So given that, that's the latest updates on the coaching world. I feel like it is time to get into what the meat of this weekend actually is, and it is Wild Card Weekend. And while the NFL is going to try to push the super down your throat, just like the whole name, Super Wild Card Weekend, there is absolutely nothing super about this weekend. Sure, in 2020, when it expanded and we had a total of 14 teams getting in the playoffs and you had that third wild card game on each side, sure, maybe it was super then. We are years past that now. It is no longer super. Just bring back the wild card. So we're going to go through these games in chronological order, I guess, by kickoff times. There are 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. So let's get into them. We're starting off with the game that's starting off the NFL playoffs in the, of course, jersey I'm repping. The GOAT, Joe Flacco. Yes, this is actually a Joe Flacco jersey. As Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns traveled down to Houston to take on the Houston Texans, a stadium that just hosted a national championship. It would be 5 days ago, something like that. These two teams faced off on Christmas Eve. The Browns dominated that game from start to finish. But a big difference between this game and that game is C.J. Stroud will be playing in this game. He is no longer concussed, at least we think, hopefully. And the Texans should be close to full health. Obviously, the Browns have not been at full health since week 1, when injuries just have plagued this team from then on out. This has been led by a band of brothers, basically. Just a bunch of replacements week after week. And here we are sitting as the 5 seed in the playoffs. Theoretically, given the performance we saw when they last were in Houston, which was 3 weeks ago now, the Browns should have good hope coming into this game. Yet I'm still worried because CJ Stroud is a game changer. He is a playmaker. He can get wins for the Texans in games that are losable, basically. He very much worries me. I know this defense is very good, but the other thing is the Texans have already seen Joe Flacco. My worry is, Joe Flacco coming off the couch, playing for the Browns, all that regular season, fine and dandy. A lot of teams didn't have any tape on him because he hadn't played in a year. The Texans not only have tape, they already played him. So they can make those adjustments because they know what he's going to do. That's my biggest worry going into this game. That and CJ Stroud. Joe Flacco still kind of turns the ball over a lot. It seems like he gets 2 interceptions a game. So you got to factor that in. If the defense can get the stops for the Browns are going to win this game because the offense can find ways to score. Like I said, it's going to be a completely different game from Christmas Eve. I think it's going to be a much closer game than Christmas Eve. Still think the Browns end up winning this game. But it's going to be close. I think it's going to be within 10 they win this game. Moving on to the Saturday night game. It is the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Miami Dolphins. This is an 8:15 kickoff exclusively on Peacock. So yes, the NFL playoffs is diving into the streaming world, and this game is exclusive on Peacock only. The biggest thing being talked about this game is not the game itself. It is the weather. The current projected temperature for Kansas City at 8:15 p.m. is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Not factoring in wind chill. Factoring in wind chill, we're looking at right around negative 25, negative 30. This is going to be something. You have a Miami team that has played in the heat all year, basically, going to Kansas City to play in negative 30 degree wind chill. How do you think that's... And now, of course, the Chiefs haven't been playing in negative 30 degrees all year. This is going to be something for them, too. This game, I think, is going to be just ugly. I truly don't think either teams are going to want to be there when they step outside. It's... Negative 30 is very cold. I don't know. The Chiefs haven't had their type of season. The Dolphins are good against bad teams. The only team above 500 they've beaten this year was the Cowboys, I believe, which is saying something because the Cowboys... I'm going to go with the Chiefs just because of, the Miami factor going to play negative 30 degrees, but it's going to affect both teams. But this game is going to be really ugly. I don't think you're going to be able to throw the ball. I think it's going to be a heavy run game, which does favor Miami there, but I still think Kansas City finds a way to pull it out in Arrowhead just because they always have the home field advantage in the playoffs. Moving on to Sunday, another potentially bad weather game. It is the 7 seed Pittsburgh Steelers, who barely got into the playoffs, facing off against the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills. We're looking at lake effect snow possibilities, which would truly be something. The Bills have gotten hot at the right time. They're 6-1 in their last 7. They've just gotten hot at the right time. The Steelers have gotten lucky all year. This is the Bills' game to lose. If they lose this game, I'd truly be stunned. Now, the other 2-7 game on the NFC side, the first NFC game we touch after we have just finished the AFC, it is the number 7 seed Green Bay Packers facing off against the 2 seed Dallas Cowboys, the 4:25 kickoff on Fox. Theoretically, Dallas should win this game. Dallas is the better team in this game. The Packers, though, the offense has gotten hot the past few weeks. The defense, not so much. The offense also plagued by a lot of injuries. There is no understating that. It seems like either A.J. Dillon or Christian Watson or Jaden Reed, just any of them are injured week after week, it seems, and it always seems like they're questionable going into a game. Aaron Jones, too, it seems like he's always questionable. The Cowboys have the better talent in this game. They got that monkey off their back last year of not winning a playoff game in whoever knows how long, but then they got blown out by the 49ers in the divisional round. This is set up perfectly for another Cowboys failure type moment. I don't think it's going to happen because I just don't think Green Bay is there to compete with the Cowboys. But would it surprise me if Green Bay have this game like 19-17 at the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter and they have the ball and have an opportunity to win the game? No, it would not surprise me at all. I don't think I can see it happening, but it also wouldn't surprise me. So my official pick is the Cowboys. I'm just saying, given the Cowboys' history in the playoffs, given Mike McCarthy's history in the playoffs, who, of course, former Packers coach, as we sit here recording on the 9th anniversary of their, I believe it was a wild card round game at Lambeau. Des Bryant did not catch it. The 9th anniversary of that event. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, but if the Packers win this game, it will not shock me at all. For the first time since 1993, the Detroit Lions are hosting a playoff game. But if you look far back enough, the last time the Lions hosted a playoff game in Detroit, 1957 NFL Championship game against the Cleveland Browns. The Detroit Lions are going up against Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, Matthew Stafford started his career in Detroit 10 years, something like that there. Obviously, they had success, but not the success that the Lions are having right now. Jared Goff, of course, former Rams quarterback, led them to a Super Bowl. Didn't win, but led them to a Super Bowl. Was part of the Matthew Stafford trade. This game, storylines galore. Obviously, the Lions having a dream season, winning the division for the first time, winning a division, I should say, for the first time since 1993. The Rams, their first time making the playoffs since winning that Super Bowl. This is going to be a very interesting game because as each day passes, it seems like Sam Laporta is going to play for the Lions. It seems like the injury isn't as bad as people expected. He's getting healthier during the week. And I kind of expect him to play. He's going to be a big factor. If he's playing hurt, might hurt the Lions more than it helps them. Given all of this, I worry because Dan Campbell in close games seems to get a fiery head and it just kind of falls apart. We saw that in the Dallas game. Kind of just fell apart there at the end. If the Rams keep this game close, I think the Rams win this game because of that. Now, of course, the script writers, what they would do here, Lions are up, 2-minute warning. Let's say it's a tie game. 2-minute warning. Lions go down the field. They score a touchdown, most likely winning them the game. Let's say there's still a minute 20 on the clock. Captain Comeback comes on the field, leads the Rams down the field, wins the game for them. Just like he did all those times in Detroit, breaking Detroit hearts, Matthew Stafford leads the Rams on to the divisional round. Now, that's how the scriptwriters would write it. I don't know if that's how it's actually going to go. I think this Rams team is better than the Lions. I think they have the better talent. I know the Lions have been good this year. I think they also got helped out by a quite easy schedule. But no matter what, I think the Rams are winning this game. They have gotten really hot over the past few weeks. The Lions kind of stumbling along. I really think the Rams win this game. And finally, it is the last game, the Monday night game, the 8:15 kickoff on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, all the ESPN networks, it seems. It is the number 4 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the number 5 seed Philadelphia Eagles. Now, what happens here? That's a great question. The Buccaneers come limping into the playoffs. They've looked awful the past 2 weeks. The Philadelphia Eagles have looked even worse. They are 1-3, I think, 1-4 in their last 5 games, something like that. They have looked awful. The Buccaneers put up 9 points against the Panthers last week in a game they had to win the division. So all their starters were playing the week before. They got embarrassed by the Saints. I think this is going to be the ugliest game of the weekend. Even worse than what's going to be a Dolphins Chiefs debacle and negative 30-degree wind chill, or a Steelers-Bills game in however much snows in Orchard Park. Just both these teams aren't good. So somebody in the divisional round is going to face one of these teams, and it's not going to be an easy walkthrough to the NFC Championship game, but it's going to be close. I'm just going to go with the Eagles here because they have the better roster by far. But the way they've played the past few weeks, I truly don't know if they can get it done. I truly don't. But I'm still going to take the Eagles no matter what. I think they find a way to win this game, and then they go into San Francisco next week and just most likely get demolished, because that would be what would happen. So given that is your wild card weekend preview. 6 intriguing games, even the ones that kind of look like they're going to suck. Thank you so much for watching. If you just stumble across this video, thank you for watching. That's so kind of you. Click like if you liked it. Click subscribe if you really liked it and want more content like this. We'll be back on Tuesday to recap it all. If anything big in the coaching world happens, I'll probably do a special episode just like I did with Nick Saban retiring. So yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the wild card weekend, and we will see you back here next week for another episode of Pigskin Perspectives.